Alex Pereira versus MAMAMED Ankalaev just got confirmed as the main event for UFC 313, as well as a 5-round co-main event between Justin Gaethje and Dan Hooker. These are two huge fights that have been rumored for a long time, and they're finally coming to fruition. UFC 313 still needs a lot of help. That's a fire main and co-main. We've wanted these fights for a really long time with some fresh matchups. The ducking allegations are now over. Alex Pereira finally facing MAMAMED Ankalaev, which is a very distinct #1 contender versus champion matchup. I'm super excited for this. I'm going to give you my early prediction, my breakdown on this fight. I'm not going to be super in-depth. I'm just going to give you my first thoughts. I was at the event, UFC 311, when this got announced, and I'm sorry these videos are coming out later. They banned CapCut in the US. That's what I use. What was I supposed to do? Nothing. Anyways, Alex Pereira, MAMAMED Ankalaev. I'll give you my little insight on this fight as to who I think's going to win and why. I'll start by saying I think this is the toughest matchup of Alex Pereira's career, even more so than Izzy probably. MAMAMED is extremely well-rounded. He's a great striker. I don't care what anyone says. He's a great striker. He's an elite wrestler. He doesn't rely on his wrestling as much as some of these other like Dagestani guys, you know? He will stand and fight and trade with you until he needs to get that takedown, like he did against Jan Blachowicz, where Jan was piecing him up, getting him with good inside leg kicks. That's a big factor. He had leg kicks on the inside. As for Pereira, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, he's going to leg kick him all day. Pereira lands the outside leg kick more than the inside leg kick, and I think that is something to discuss. Do I think it's going to be that much of a factor, the difference between an inside leg kick and outside? I don't know. I think Alex is very capable of landing an inside leg kick just as deadly as his outside. His outside leg kick is so sneaky and so good. I don't know if MAMAMED's going to be able to handle it, honestly. A lot of people, I've seen early predictions of this. It's very 50-50 online from what I've seen. I understand both sides. I think MAMAMED's wrestling is really going to have to get him this win if he's going to get the win. And in my opinion, this is a 5-rounder, obviously, for the title. The only way I see MAMAMED winning is drowning out a decision or getting a submission. And that's why I'm picking Alex Pereira, because I don't think you can go 5 rounds with Pereira. Every round starts on the feet. He's destined to stop at least some of the takedowns. I think Alex has enough time to catch him. I said MAMAMED's a great striker. I think Alex is an elite striker. He has elite power. Now, where I'm a little bit worried is Pereira hasn't really fought a great wrestler. He got taken down by Adesanya, which was alarming and still is going into this fight. And at first I was thinking MAMAMED might just Merab O'Malley him. You know, when Merab fought O'Malley, kind of the same situation. But I think MAMAMED is going to be willing to strike a lot more with Pereira. He's going to have to give the threat of the takedown if he wants any success in this fight. Otherwise, he's immediately cooked. Now, don't get me wrong. If MAMAMED somehow sneaks like a head kick knockout on Pereira, the world would be shook. I think this is just Pereira's time. I know it's very biased to kind of pick him because he's like the face of the UFC. But I think this is a matchup that if he wins, he's like undoubtedly the star. And I know he's already like the star and face of UFC. But I think it's like signified he's the star. And I think if he wins this, he might be willing to go up to heavyweight and try like a Tom Aspinall matchup, which would be insane. I think Tom Aspinall would smoke Pereira, but I think it would be electric if Pereira took that step and tried to be a 3-time champion, like a 3-division champion. But that's getting way ahead of myself. There are some good matchups in light heavyweight that are still coming up that could be made, and Pereira could face someone like Carlos Ulberg in the future. But yeah, I know Pereira's getting older. I don't really care. Light heavyweight, you can be a little bit older. We saw guys like Glover, even Jan Blachowicz win the belt. Pereira's the champion. He's what, 36, 37? I think it's just his time. I think he's going to catch MAMAMED with a left hook, rain down some bombs on him, and they're going to call it off. I could see this fight being an early stoppage, which is going to get a lot of people mad. Let's be honest. I don't think we're going to be mad if Alex Pereira wins against MAMAMED Ankalaev. Who would you rather have as champion? Don't get me wrong, I think this is the most deadly matchup for Pereira. I think both of these guys are kind of each other's nightmare matchups. What's interesting to me is we haven't really seen Pereira's takedowns tested, his grappling tested since the Blachowicz fight, and that was, what, 3-4 fights ago now, which is crazy. And he looked okay against Blachowicz. He definitely looked improved to the Adesanya fight. He was getting taken down by Izzy. Now he was able to stuff a lot of Blachowicz's grappling and even survived on the ground. He has very good like ground defense, and that had to have improved since that fight. So I'm picking Alex. I know it's kind of crazy, but I am. I'm going with him. I wonder what the odds on this fight are going to be on fight day. This fight's taking place really soon, actually, in March, during Ramadan. That's another thing I want to talk about. Magomed's fighting during Ramadan, which is just not ideal. His body's going to be not there all the way. I'm picking Alex. A 3rd round KO. I'm doing it. Moving on to the co-main event. Banger of a fight. Fight of the year candidate already unlocked. Gaethje versus Hooker. I think this is going to be a war. I don't think Gaethje is as into going to war as he was earlier in his career. I think he's a lot more technical, a lot more safe now, but he still always gets himself in these firefights, and Dan Hooker brings it. He'll match the energy of the fight. He'll push the pace. If Gaethje wants to slow down, Hooker will be right there to push the pace. We've seen Hooker on great momentum. This fight's going to be really close in the odds too. Both of these guys have one punch power to put an end to it, but we haven't seen Gaethje get any knockouts as of late. Thinking back on Gaethje's last couple fights, he knocked out Pereira with that head kick. Of course, he was on the receiving end of the knockout of the year at UFC 300 against Max Holloway. He can bounce back. Gaethje tends to get killed and then come back and put a little win streak together, so I wouldn't be shocked to see that happen. He's facing Hooker, who's on momentum. He's came back. He's beat Jalen Turner. He's beat Mateus Gamrot, which was an extremely impressive fight. What I'm a little bit worried about is Hooker has a great chin, but we've seen guys like Michael Chandler put him down. Gaethje's got about as much power as Chandler, maybe a little less. I don't know. Who has more power, Gaethje or Chandler? My early prediction, and this could change when the event rolls around, I'm going with Dan Hooker to TKO Gaethje in the 4th round. I'm just feeling it. I think the Hooker title run starts now. Not really. I don't think he's winning the belt. But I can see a world where if he gets this done, they give him a title shot. Because, let's be honest, guys, if Gaethje wins, they're going to throw the title shot at him, and it's going to be annoying because he does not deserve infinite title shots. He should need 1 or 2 more wins after this against more top-ranked guys, maybe like an Armin, maybe someone climbing up the rankings below him. If he can beat him, give him the title shot. But lightweight's just a mess right now. Islam's killing everyone. They're not giving Armin the shot right now, which is diabolical. I'm picking Dan Hooker. That could change. This is such a close matchup. I love Gaethje. I love Dan Hooker. I just think Dan Hooker's on great momentum right now, and I think he's going to be able to get it done. Those are the 2 fights they got announced. I'm super excited for this event. They really need to start putting some better fights on that main card, though, because UFC 312 looks absolutely disastrous, and we can't have UFC 313 landing in the same boat. But let me know what you guys think of these fights. Let me know who you got in the comments below. I'm going to be uploading my predictions for the Adesanya versus a Mavov card coming up very soon. Thank you for watching. If you're new here, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.